In this episode, I'm here with Terri Fry, one of the speakers at the 2017 MindBody Bold Conference. Terri has 10 years of experience in the sales and marketing industry, mostly with retail. She gave a very popular talk at this conference called Happiness on a Hanger, where she shared some incredible strategies on how she sells more retail at her fitness studio. And today, we're gonna dive into all those strategies with you. Growing a small business isn't easy, and to be successful, we know three things for sure. You have to work hard, you have to be bold, and you must constantly learn. We're gathering some of the best minds in the business world to share their ideas and strategies with you so you can grow your business easier, be more profitable, and have a lot more fun being a business owner. We're on a mission to connect the world of wellness, and this is the MindBody Bold Show. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Garcia, and welcome back to another episode of The Bold Show. Terri, are you ready to be bold?
I am absolutely ready to be bold.
All right, so when you say you can pay your rent in retail sales, what does that mean?
Basically what it means is that I've put together with my experience how to, and I have a very small studio, Mike. It's like, I have 100 square feet of space devoted to retail. That's it.
Okay.
So a lot of times I hear people say, oh, I don't have the space to do retail. Well, you don't need a lot of space. Do you have walls? What I said in my presentation yesterday, do you have walls? If you have walls, you can do retail.
Okay.
So basically how I pay my rent in retail sales is I establish what my rent is. That was my first goal. I set a goal of, okay, this is what my total rent is for the year. So I would ideally like to sell enough to pay for that. And then how do I do that? Breaking it down into manageable chunks that I have a weekly goal, a monthly goal, and then an annual goal in order for me to actually get to the point where I have made it, built it to be paying my rent rement Now in 2016, I did achieve that.
Okay, so tell me about that.
So I did 14.56% of my total gross sales, and that's the report I ran in MindBody. You just go to total sales for you. Super simple to do. And I just looked at the bottom line. And then it breaks out with you have your categories set up, and I had all my retail categories set up. I just added up. I have like 5 retail categories. I just added up, did the simple math, and it came to 14.56%.
Okay.
Well, then my actual percentage of rent to total gross sales is 12.2%.
So you beat it.
I beat it.
That's pretty awesome.
And
rent's usually the biggest stress, right? You got to get that out of the way.
After paying employees, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, single biggest expense is always employees. And they're your biggest asset as well, obviously. And after that, rent's a big one.
Now you said you don't need a lot of space. So how are you able to work within 100 square feet to be, well, actually, let's take a step back. What do you sell?
I sell predominantly, I'm a hot yoga and hot Pilates studio, so I sell apparel that is appropriate for hot Pilates and hot yoga. So basically I sell crop tops, shorts, I sell capris, leggings, and tank tops. So
yoga mats?
And yoga mats, I sell yoga mats specifically for hot yoga and hot Pilates.
Beverages?
Beverages, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. I have a drink cooler. I sell a lot of beverages. In addition to water, I sell coconut water, I sell sparkling water, and let me tell you, those $1 and $2 sales, they add up to thousands of dollars.
They're great margins.
They're great margins, and they add up to thousands of dollars. Those dollar bills, it's amazing how much one can do with just going beyond bottled water.
Now, with all those things that you sell in 100 square feet, how did you learn to structure everything to fit and still be attractive and comfortable for people to buy?
Well, excellent question. So the biggest thing is, like I said, if you have walls, you can do this. So there's a product out there in retail. It's called Slat Wall.
Okay.
S-L-A-T wall. You can Google it. You can buy it just about. There's lots of places to buy it, and you can get it in lots of different colors. You can get it faux granite. You can get it all different things. It basically is imagine a piece of plywood, and it has slats in it. Okay. So that you can put your hooks on it. And so they typically come like 4x8 sheets. Mm-hmm. And in my talk yesterday, I gave everybody a budget, what you can do for $200. How you can set up a retail space for $200.
Really?
That's all it takes.
Now, in order to do that, you have to have some good vendors that allow you to have good costs for your products, right? So how do you find good vendors? Where do you go for that?
Again, a very good question. I'm fortunate that it was easy for me to find vendors because I already had relationships with some of the vendors through my previous experience. But the vendors I partner with, and I talked again about this in my talk yesterday, is I look for several strategic things with a retail partner.
Okay.
One is that, and I prefer to work with boutique manufacturers. I'm a boutique studio. I'm not doing millions of dollars a year. I'm a small entrepreneurial business, which is the backbone of this country.
Right.
And so I like to do business with small entrepreneurial manufacturers. And so that's what I have. And so that's sort of like, I choose to do that. They're obviously big manufacturers. I'm not saying they're better. I'm just saying this is what I choose to do. So within that, I look for manufacturers that don't require big minimums, because I like to buy smaller amounts of product frequently. It helps with the cash flow, and also because I have no back stock. Everything that I buy goes up on the wall, so that if I run out of something, I don't want to have to wait 3 or 4 weeks to buy. I replenish, and one of the things I talk about is you got to replenish all the time. You have to be having always orders in the pipeline, because you don't walk into a store and they're out of stuff, right? You get frustrated. You want to make sure you have that. So I want to have the ability to buy small orders, $300 to $500, which I know can sound like a lot to a lot of folks, especially if you're struggling for cash flow. But I gave them some strategies how to do that as well, what we call work your float, and then also or piece counts, because you do need, if you're going to make the decision to go into retail, you need to be in retail. Right. You can't just have a few 5 or 6 items hanging on a rack. You need to look like you have full. That's why even if you have a lot of space, I recommended focusing it in one area. So, and make it highly visible.
Right.
Highly visible. It's don't stick it back in the corner of the studio. Put it somewhere where people are going to walk by all the time. Like in my studio, I have 2 walls now of this slat wall. One of them faces, when you're in the studio, I have French doors. So it faces, so when they're in the class, they can see that wall, and I intentionally mix that product up almost weekly. And I kid you not, I have people come out, I've been staring at that all class, so I got to get that top.
That's cool.
So I strategically do that. I'll put outfits up there like, oh God, I got to have that. Because in addition to, I should also say, in addition to the yoga clothes, I do sell a lot of logoed apparel, like MindBody here. Okay. I have things with my name on it, or wicked cool, like I was wearing yesterday, a thing that said, "You're so lucky I went to yoga today." So things like that as well. So that is part of what sort of athleisure, because that's a huge segment. It's a $270 billion industry right now, and it's expected to grow another 20% by 2020.
Now, you obviously have great background with sales marketing and the whole retail game, but somebody that doesn't have it, which is probably most yoga studio instructors, right? Somebody that doesn't have that, where can they go learn how to structure your retail space? Are there books? Are there influencers? Are there videos? How can somebody from scratch learn how to set things up? There's
certainly a lot of online resources out there, and then just ask. Go like to MindBody One, the new community forum. Find me on there. Ask other people, what are you doing? Because it's going to be dependent upon your space. Right. But the first and foremost, you got to get the product in there. Right. And you got to. This is the other thing I said. If you're going to do that, you have to wear the product. Right. If you want to actually make the sale, that's a simple thing that you can do to sell your product without even opening your mouth. Okay. It's just wear it. And then they're going to say, ooh, I have my students say, ooh, did you see what Terri was wearing today? I got to get that. Right, right. So wear what you sell. Encourage your teachers. Give them a good discount, right, so that they wear what you sell.
Well, it's like at the Apple store. They're all wearing the Apple Watches.
Exactly.
They're all using iPhones.
It's like, ooh, I want to get that kind of thing. And that's also one of the other key things with going back to retail partners is not only low minimums, but the ability, I look for the ability to return merchandise. Okay. And because maybe it doesn't work. So like I said yesterday in my presentation, maybe a print that's really popular in LA or Florida, I'm outside of Boston, I'm in New England, so maybe it doesn't work there. So I want to have the ability, if it doesn't work, that I can send it back and get something else that will work. As I said yesterday, I do not do a sale of discount of merchandise because I'm sitting on a bunch of inventory that I haven't been able to move. Right. I make a sale because it's a strategic decision. I'm having a sale for a specific purpose, and when I do, I always have a goal.
What would be an example of a purpose?
A purpose I did and this is a cross-marketing promotion last November. I had an open house, right? So I had the open house to get people to come in. I had some things on sale that day, including packages, class packages. So I did a discount on a yearly unlimited, and if they bought that, then they got a mat to go with it. So that was I gave them the mat. But here's the thing, now that is an annual member. That means they're going to come a lot. Guess what? One mat's not going to cut it, particularly in the hot yoga world, because they have to wash it all the time. So most of those people end up coming back and buying another mat. Some of them have 3 mats. because you're creating that customer, you're creating that loop of that. They need the merchandise, you have it there to sell it. So with just a little bit of work, you can start getting your customers trained to buy that stuff from you, because I do believe that people want to buy from their studios.
Right. Well, people are going to buy it anyway.
Yeah, they're going to buy it anyway.
They're not going to go to yoga in jeans and like
exactly. So why
fleece.
not from you?
Right.
And if you say, well, I can't compete with so and so, don't try.
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
Where, I think a lot of small businesses in general, they have a hard time upselling. They feel guilty.
Shouldn't.
Why? Right. Well, they do, because they feel like, now I'm getting greedy. I already got this business. Now I shouldn't feel greedy doing this. So do you get the business? Meaning, do you let people know about new stuff you have going on? Do you bring it up? Do you ask them if they need anything? Or do you just wait for it to happen?
No.
So tell me about how you make that happen.
How I make it, okay, so anytime we get like new prints and stuff in, I put it on Facebook.
Okay.
Just take a picture of it and create new prints in from so-and-so and so-and-so.
Okay.
And that sparks interest.
What about at the register?
At the register.
Or as people are checking in or anything like that?
Look at the new tops isn't that so cute? Did you see the new t-shirts we just got in? Oh my gosh, you have to have one of these. Are you going to get one of these? They want to buy from you.
Yep, especially if they've already bought one thing
from you. If they've already bought one thing from you.
Because here's the thing, a lot of people don't realize this. It's fun to buy.
It is.
Everybody listening and watching could probably relate to this, where you go into a store and you see a jacket or a shirt and you go, man, that looks really nice. And you look at the price tag and you go, oh, I don't know if I really need this. But then you go through it anyway, nervous the whole way through. You get to the cash register. She tells you the total. You're like, oh, I didn't even think about tax, right? And then you give the credit card. She swipes it. You're like, oh, okay, it's done. And then you get the bag, you get your receipt, and you're walking out. Can't wait to put the thing on.
Exactly.
You feel great. So what happens is, now that they got that feeling from you, it's easier to sell them because they want to keep buying that feeling, not this feeling, because this is the most recent feeling.
Well, and I talked about this yesterday as well, about they feel good in it. And here's what happens, and this is why I do this. It's not being greedy. Right? Ariana talked about it yesterday. Rick and Russell talked about it yesterday. We are in a wellness revolution, right? People want to feel good about themselves. So we're giving them a way to make themselves feel good. And trust me, people feel good, like you just said, when they put on that jacket. When they put on, I've seen this with women, it transforms them. They start feeling good about their bodies. Let's face it, 98% of my customers are women. They're me, middle-aged, and I'm in an urban studio, right? 35 plus, couple of kids, maybe like, a little pooch here, maybe the arms get a little saggy, whatever it is, they start feeling good about how they look. Maybe they don't make huge changes in their body, but here's the thing, they start accepting the body in the mirror. And they feel good about that. And then like, ooh, maybe I can wear that crop top. Maybe I can wear those pair of string shorts. And then they start seeing, they're like, ooh, I like this. They feel good about how they look just simply because they bought a hot pink pair of shorts and a wicked cool top. Guess what happens? They work harder.
Right.
When they work harder, they feel better. When they feel better, they live better. And all of a sudden, now it's like, all because they spent $100 on the top and a pair of shorts.
Right.
They like, as you said, they like that feeling, but it's more than just they're buying from me. They feel good about themselves.
Every time they wear it, too.
Every time they wear it.
And they feel better wearing it in front of you.
And they accept in themselves. I have a student, she's 65, she's a grandmother. She's got a woman's body. She's had kids, she's got stretch marks, cellulite. But let me tell you, she is rocking side string shorts and tube tops at 65 and feels fabulous in it.
That's awesome.
It's like, in the MasterCard commercials of old, we call that priceless.
So now, what about people that say they just don't have enough time to focus on the retail part of their business?
I will say to them that it's really, I added it up, I kind of calculate, it's about 2 hours a week.
Really?
Give or take. Some weeks it's more, some weeks it's less. But if I looked at overall in a month, it's about a couple hours a week. And
that's nothing when you consider you're paying your rent.
Yeah, and then and then some of it's, the biggest chunk of time, there's obviously the upfront getting everything set up, and I talk in MindBody getting all that done. But that's a one-time upfront setup. You sit down, I say, grab a glass of wine, do it some night, just do it, right? Just flip and do it. Get it done, and then once that's done, then you're just maintaining that. It's not so bad after that. It's not that it's bad. It just takes time, right? So once that's established, then probably the biggest amount of time you're going to spend is ordering and receiving merchandise. So when I order, I do it at the studio, usually between classes, because I like to look at what I have on the racks, because I always like to create outfits. One of the things about selling is my goal always is to sell at least 2 items, whether it's 2 pairs of shorts, and shorts do sell like 2 to 1. So 2 pairs of shorts or maybe a short and a top. So it's like, oh, this top's gonna go with this, go try it on.
Right.
You just tell them.
Right.
They trust you. I now have women that come in and say,
they come out, they look good, they feel good.
And now, because again, get to know your customers. I now have people come in and say, Terri, I forgot my yoga clothes. Can you pick out an outfit for me? Like, boom,
now
boom, boom.
you're the stylist, which
Exactly.
is great.
Now that I'm the stylist, so that's great. That's the fun part. And then receiving the merchandise in. Now here's a tip I gave the room yesterday, is I had went to pick up an order at the post office of product, and I got back to the studio, I started unpacking, I looked at the clock, oh shoot, I got to open the studio in 5 minutes. So I just sort of, the box was open, I kind of stuck it aside, started people coming in, this woman came in and said, is that the order? Because people are like, when are you going to order next, right? I said, yeah, can I look? I said, sure.
Like, it didn't even come out of the box yet.
It hadn't even come out of the box yet, right? It was sort of like laying over the box was open, kind of like, you know, enticing, right? And so she said, and then, ooh, is that the new stuff? Is that the new, yeah, can I look? I sold half the order.
Before hanging it up.
Before hanging it up.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, $500 in 20 minutes, I kid you not.
So tip is leave the box out front when
Tip
people are
is
waiting for an
find
order.
out when are your busy classes, like your most popular teacher.
Got it.
And I strategically do this now. I know when my busy classes are, and I will have the box there, and it will be kind of opened, and maybe I might have something on the counter as I'm like putting the labels on, and then someone walks, oh, Susie, look at this, I just got this in, this is gonna look fabulous on you. I only got one of them, go try it on.
Right, right. So guys, just so you know too, remember when you upsell and when you do add-ons, it's not only additional revenue right there, but like Terri said here, that person just spent $100 on an outfit that's branded to you. If she leaves your studio, pauses, she's not gonna go to the other yoga studio down the road wearing that $100 outfit that brands your studio, because that's an awkward feeling. But she's also not gonna not wear that $100 outfit she just bought. So the best way to be able to get her in is by giving her all her best yoga clothes are your yoga clothes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So retail not only gets you more business right there, but it also allows you to continuously get that member to be bought into your brand, your company, retain people, get people to come back, refer people, and even spread the message, as you know, people wear yoga clothes when they go to the grocery store as well.
And particularly the logo tees. I mean,
Right.
that's priceless to have, you know, out in the community, and I say, oh, there's my customer, and they're wearing a logo tee.
Right.
Right. And then the other thing I was going to say about when they buy the purchases, here's another tip I said to people, like, if during the intro month, most of us have some type of intro package, right? So during my intro month, which is $30 for 30 days, I know that if someone buys a yoga mat, usually they'll start with a yoga mat or maybe a pair of shorts or something like that. My chances of now getting them to get a membership just escalated, because they've got some skin in the game.
Right.
More than just the $30. Now they've invested $68 or whatever. So it's like, oh, I'm going to come back and see if this works. So that's another thing, a strategy. Now within my welcome packet that they get after they take their first class, I give them a 20% discount off their first retail item if they buy it in their first 30 days.
That's awesome.
Right? And then the other thing that is cool is that I've partnered with Perkville, the rewards program. And so every time a student buys something, for every dollar spent, they get 1 Perkville point. And then, so they earn those, and then Katie Phillips and MindBody so I create a nice feedback loop. I've decided to call it a revenue loop, because so every time they buy something, they earn points. Then when they accrue so many points, they can redeem that for a 10% coupon to come back and buy more retail.
Which just keeps it going over.
Keeps it going,
and your margins are higher than 10%, so it's still a win.
It's still a win, absolutely.
So for everybody that was listening in today, everybody that was watching, become a part, get involved with MindBody One so you can get closer to people like Terri, and I'm sure there's other people that can share a bunch of other tips in there as well. Really understand all the different opportunities you have within your business to grow it. Terri, thank you so much for sharing all this today and really letting everybody here just get more insight as to how they can grow their business with retail.
It's super fun. Have some fun. That's all I say. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like this episode, then subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher, and to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. You can get all the links by going to boldshow.com. Thanks, and see you next time.